Hey guys, this is EckhartsLadder. Hello and welcome to another Star Wars The Mandalorian video, and we are continuing to talk about last chapter, chapter 15, The Believer, so full spoilers for that before we continue. Also, I just want to be clear, the title here, when I say The Mandalorian, I'm referring to The Mandalorian as a character, not as the TV show, so if you're not interested in learning about something The Mandalorian did but maybe shouldn't have, consider clicking away. Anyway, the most recent episode of The Mandalorian had a lot of interesting themes, and a few people pointed out that maybe I didn't talk about that enough in my review, which, you know what, fair enough. The character of Mayfeld serves to illustrate a bunch of issues which are present in the Star Wars galaxy. The most interesting one really being the effects of war and tyranny, and the meaning of evil in a galaxy where everyone is just trying to get by. Of course, one of the best moments of the episode is where Mayfeld shoots his former Imperial commander because, to put it simply, the man's just pure evil. He's celebrating Operation Cinder, a plan which was put in motion simply to strike back against enemies of the Emperor, and which caused nothing but destruction, and destruction for not even a tactical purpose. For those who don't know, by the way, Operation Cinder, which appeared in Aftermath and Star Wars Battlefront 2 and a bunch of other stuff, saw the Empire burn down and destroy worlds, even worlds of no significant importance. It was almost like a test for the loyalty of Imperial officers, and a really good book that examines that would be Alphabet Squad and also its sequel. But anyway, Star Wars is pretty black and white when it comes to morality, at least on its surface. The Empire is clearly bad, they destroy planets, whereas the Rebellion is at least trying to accomplish good. Some, especially more modern Star Wars stories, paint things with a bit more gray. That's what we sort of try to see Mayfeld do at the beginning of the episode. The message we've heard before, the Empire and the New Republic are all the same. They're all tyrannical governments, and Mayfeld says pretty much exactly that. It doesn't matter to these people who's in control, who the active government is, because they're always going to be in this crappy situation. But Mayfeld is wrong, and that's the point of the episode that I think a lot of people are missing, but which Mayfeld recognizes at the end. The New Republic is not perfect. It may be corrupt, it may be inefficient or whatever else, but it's not actively evil. It's not destroying planets, it's not doing Operation Cinder or the Emperor's contingencies, and that's why they had him finding this Redonium during the episode and eventually destroying it. It's a recognition that, yeah, the Empire is evil, and I don't think Star Wars should ever get away from that sort of clear-cut definition. There can be people within the Empire that aren't, individuals like Mayfeld or the people who leave the Empire on other terms, but that doesn't stop the fact that the Empire is a construction of Palpatine. It's the Emperor's goals that the Empire ultimately was made to achieve, and more than that, although some people do have good intentions and the Empire does occasionally provide justice and security, it also has a lot of evil effects on people across the galaxy. So what am I talking about? Why is this relevant? Well, there's one really key moment in this episode that I think deserves a lot more attention, and this is something I did briefly mention in my episode review. I'm talking about the so-called pirate attack on the Imperial Juggernaut convoy. Just as a reminder, basically these Juggernauts were transferring Rhydonium, which is an incredibly explosive and volatile material which can be weaponized from some sort of mine to the main Imperial base where it would be presumably picked up and brought off-world. The coincidental thing here is that this attack happens right after Mando and Mayfeld are talking about the ethics of the galaxy, and Mayfeld saying that the only important thing really is whether you can go to sleep at night with a free conscience. But throughout the attack, the raiders, or pirates, they're called both interchangeably, are treated as bad guys, as if they're trying to do something evil. You know, they even look sort of like scary aliens. I'm not sure which species they are exactly. And Mando largely kills them. They get stormtrooper-style deaths. They're exploded. They're ran over by the Juggernaut. It's very, very violent. And neither Mayfeld or Mando really stop to think about it. And of course, the moment where the TIE fighter flies overhead and the group is saved by stormtroopers is a pretty positive feeling one. But let's think about what's actually happening here. If we see these pirates, they're not trying to steal the Redonium. They're not trying to detach or hijack the cargo. What are they trying to do? They're trying to destroy the material, blow up the convoy. We see that their MO is to fly up in skiffs, use thermal detonators, and destroy the Juggernauts. This isn't even leaving anything for scrap, really. The point is, these obviously were not raiders. They weren't stealing anything, they weren't pirating anything. They were destroying Imperial resources. And this is extra serious because this is resources we learn later would have been used for something that would have made Operation Cinder look pretty small scale. So these could have just been freedom fighters. These could have been people trying to stop Imperial tyranny across the galaxy, or even just on their home planet. Maybe they were just fighting back against the exploitation of their land and the likely suppression of their people. Either way, there's nothing to me that indicates that these were bad people. The Mandalorian was dressed up as an Imperial. They were attacking him for that reason. But you know what? Nobody really thinks about it, and that's the Mandalorian's mistake. He's in this combat, he gets into it, he's defending himself really, which is probably part of the reason why he doesn't take that extra moment of introspection, because he can't. But it's all very neat, and this is one of the reasons why I'm beginning to like this episode more and more, and it's moving up in the rankings for me. I think the Mandalorian's mistake here shows a lot about how good people, or just normal people, can fall into evil. The Mandalorian dresses up as a trooper, and he does an ordinary thing that somebody in the Empire would do, and he propagates that evil without even thinking about it. He delivers the tools which would later be used, perhaps, to destroy a planet. And everybody, not just him, but also the other troopers, are wrapped up with the fact that they just survived. Their side won without really thinking about the full consequences of what would have happened. The difference, I think, for Mando and for Mayfeld especially, is they're directly confronted with what the Empire is going to do, with the evil that will be wrought on the galaxy, and Mayfeld takes the incredibly brave choice of saying, screw that, I'm going to fight back. And that's really great for his character, especially because he does sort of have this outer shell at the beginning that we see break down as he's reminded of the atrocities that he witnessed or maybe even contributed to. I think generally it's a very Alphabet Squad-like statement about how individuals can get wrapped up in camaraderie and us versus them without really realizing what's going on. And this is the type of analysis that I much prefer, rather than the Empire was not all evil, because the Empire was evil. Was everyone in the Empire bad? No, of course not, just like not everyone in the rebellion was good, but intentions matter. Destroying a planet matters. Trying to blow up more planets matters. And it's just like an Alphabet Squadron again. When you leave and when you decide to fight back, that matters too. One of the big parts of Alphabet Squad is Yrica Quell wondering, why did she not leave earlier? Why was she forced out of Alphabet Squadron after Operation Cinder? She deals with the regret of not leaving on her own, not having the strength to leave on her own. Mayfeld, on the other hand, is different. I think he's trying to justify what he did and struggling with his general past as an Imperial by the fact that when the cards were down, he did leave and he was brave. The Mando, I'm not sure. I don't think he ever really realized, at least in this episode, what happens. I don't know whether his character will ever reflect on those people that he fought off, but the ideal situation would have been for him to not kill as many as possible, in my opinion, even if that means just stunning them or injuring them. But that's all what made the episode interesting and why I really liked it. Maybe they were raiders or pirates or whatever else. We will probably never know, and I like that it kept it ambiguous. Until next time though, guys, have a good one, be safe, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, and may the Force be with you.